Mark, I thought your Dallas Mavericks were playoff sleepers this year. I thought you'd have beaten the Clippers last year if Porzingis didn't get some bad calls and then get hurt. I look at Porzingis now, and he's coming off a big, at least offensive game, and he every year it seems has to spend the entire season getting back to where he was, so he never gets to become what he should be. And there are rumors that he could be available in the right deal and all of that. Where are you on Kristaps Porzingis?
Patient, because you saw what KP can be last night. We're seeing more of that. It takes time. I mean, look at KD, different injury, but you've got to be patient, particularly this year. I mean, it's just such a crazy year. We got hit by a COVID outbreak, really bad, and that impacted our season. And everybody was like panicking and saying, you got to do A, B, or C. We don't. We have a good team. KP is showing what KP is. I mean, he's a great top 20 player. And so we're just going to be patient. We have a good team. There's no reason to panic or do anything.
Well, I definitely think you're right, and you've proven yourself to be right. You've won 4 straight. You won 11 of your last 14 games. Y'all are looking pretty good right now. But let me rewind the clock just a little bit to Luka Doncic a little bit earlier this season, because he sort of called out the team in terms of saying that we got to do better. We got to do better and what have you. And when he said that, that's when people got up in arms, started really, really worrying about the Dallas Mavericks. When you heard him say that at that particular moment in time, Mark, what did you take from it, and how concerned were you that your young superstar was not happy?
Well, you talk to him. Nobody likes going through a losing streak, right? When you're in the middle of a losing streak, it's always painful, and it's always hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And we just had the coach and I had conversations with all the players, and I just told him, look, we're not panicking. We had 5 of our top 8 rotation players out, either sick or contact tracing, all at the same time. We've lost more games to COVID illness than any other team in the NBA. We had the hardest schedule in the NBA. So all of a sudden, all those things are turning back in our favor. We're healthier. We're healthy. The schedule is tough for everybody in the second half, but it's a little bit lighter for us compared to the first half. And so, now look at our record. We were 5 games under 500. And now we're 3 over and a chance to go 4 over tonight. So, every NBA season is a little bit crazy, but this one was a lot crazy. And I just preach patience.
You guys get healthy and Porzingis stays healthy, you're going to be a problem in the playoffs. I still believe. Mark, I look at you and by the way, also Fertitta in Houston, and I look at Texas, a no state income tax state, a warm weather state, major metropolitan areas, you might even say cosmopolitan areas, right? Player-friendly owners, I'll include Fertitta with you, who are media savvy and accessible to the media. And yet, for whatever reason, it's not like players avoid Houston or Dallas, but it doesn't seem to pop up among the markets that players are clamoring to go to. And I've never understood why. Is it because the Cowboys are so big in Dallas? What's your theory? Why is it like that?
We know when we were, at the top of the standings perennially and winning 50 games every year, we never had cap room, right? You got to have cap rooms before teams can talk about coming to you. And then when we did have cap room, we weren't a very good team. So now that's all changing. We have the opportunity, if we choose to go that way this summer, to have cap room. We've got a great team. We've got a great foundation. So we'll see what happens. I mean, one side says you just keep everybody you have, and corporate knowledge makes us a better team every year. Luka and KP continue to get better because they're so young. But, we'll decide what happens coming this summer. But, people talk about, we never got the free agent and this or that. We never had cap player in the NBA. People don't realize what a great defender he is. His 3-point shot keeps improving. Just tell him. He'll say, call me. He wants you to know that he can play. Dorian Finney-Smith. We do this thing. We track internal analytics, things during practice and everything. Dodo, his shots selection, his ability to make threes just keeps on improving every single year. So we expect him to get even better. We've got all the tools. We've got a great coach. We've got Luka, who makes everybody better. KP, I'm completely confident he'll stay healthy. The sky's the limit for this team. I can't overstate rather how excited I am for these guys.
Mark Cuban, let me take it off the court for a little bit because you're more qualified than most to answer this question. I know that you're incredibly excited about your team. You're incredibly excited about this season. And obviously, you were actively involved with a lot of stuff that was going on in the offseason, last season, not just with COVID, but with social justice issues. And I applaud you for all of that. My question to you would be this. As successful as the NBA was in the bubble with no positive tests, just recently, we had a game postponed, obviously, in Houston with Harden and those boys because of COVID, potential positive tests and things of that nature. I want to know, how concerned are you about this season now that there is no bubble? Everybody's going to be in their respective city. You're still going to be traveling to games and things of that nature. Are you concerned at all about this season going forward uninterrupted?
Yes, of course. We've already lost a game. This is a maturity test for all 450 players in the NBA. And plus the two-way players. This is the chance for guys really to make mistakes outside the bubble, and it's going to happen. We've already seen it happen. One of the reasons I'm traveling with our team on Christmas Day is to show them, that this is important to me, that we need to all be very vigilant. We can't be going out because we're in LA or we're Dallas or wherever. We've got to make sure we're getting tested. We're filling out the questionnaire every morning. We're watching out for each other. And that doesn't mean, keeping an eye on each other, but supporting each other. I have this saying that I've had for 20 years. You can have one knucklehead on the team, but you can't have two, because the two knuckleheads hang out together and cause problems for everybody else. This year, that's amplified even more. You can't even have one knucklehead, because if that one knucklehead goes out and doesn't report or doesn't do what they're supposed to, that can infect an entire team and take down, a good part of your season. Because if you get sick, if somebody gets sick, who knows what the consequences are, not just administratively with the NBA, but health-wise, which is far more important. So being vigilant about that, making the guys understand how important this is and what's at stake. That's one of the reasons I'm here on Christmas Day, to show my support, to be there with them, to be at the team meals, to let them see me, to be sitting alone even at the games, to show them that, this is not typical. There's going to be mistakes. We've already seen them. And part of my job is to reduce the mistakes here at the Mavs and hopefully set an example for the entire NBA that it can be done.
Well, you're certainly setting the tone. I kind of want to stay with that subject, because one of the dominant storylines of late has been James Harden and his tenuous relationship with the Rockets. Mark, if you were in charge of that team, how would you handle the situation moving forward?
I don't want to speak for another owner or another organization. We've had issues in our team, and every team goes through something. And players have to make their own decisions about what's best for them. I just try to keep my relationships with our players as strong as possible, so that in the event they want change, we can handle it privately and deal with it privately. I mean, I've certainly had players request and even demand trades over the past 20 years, and we've just dealt with it. We've tried not to make it public. And there's, I don't want to speak for another owner or player or organization. It's never an easy set of circumstances.
Mark, don't you feel that you owe the people of New York an apology? After all, they knew it was an incredibly bad idea to trade Kristaps Porzingis, and you took advantage of a completely inept franchise. How dare you? Don't you owe the people of New York an apology, the many Knicks fans who you robbed of Kristaps Porzingis?
Merry Christmas, Max. It's a beautiful
Dallas
day.
Fans.
It's a beautiful day for basketball. We're going to have all these games. Tune in on ESPN. I mean, what's better on Christmas Day? Open your presents and spend a whole day watching basketball. That's my thank you to New York, Dallas, LA, Miami, Chicago, all NBA cities.
Mark, as crazy as this question may sound, I'm going to ask it. As crazy as this question may sound, Mark, I'm going to ask it anyway, because I know that obviously with the Greek Freak electing to stay in Milwaukee, you got a guy that committed to staying to a smaller market. We see how, the league pays attention to all that stuff. The league definitely endorses such a thing. But it just seems to be something extra special when you got a Los Angeles Lakers squad as an NBA champion right now. It seems to be a great, great thing for the NBA. Could you talk about where you think the NBA NBA is now because a team like the Lakers are in the eye of the storm and everybody's shooting for them because they stand as the champions today. This is your opponent.
That means
tonight.
nothing, Stephen, nothing. Nothing. When we were the champ, when the Heat were the champs, it doesn't matter who the champ is. They're always going to be gunned for. This whole concept of the big cities on the coast have to be good for everybody to get excited about the NBA. Not in this world anymore. That, you and I are getting old, Steve, and that was 20 years ago. Right now with social media and we care about Luka, and that's what's happening more. The players are becoming more of more key to awareness and interest from younger kids, Gen Z, than even the teams are. So we've got to pay special attention to more about, how strong is LeBron's social media game, which is very strong. How strong is Luka's social media game, which is even stronger than LeBron's. Okay, I said it. How strong is Giannis's social media game? These are the things that matter these days in terms of interest. Those days of building the coast up and you got to have interest from the coast, because we're not a TV-centric awareness society.